Is Vincent Kompany's Bayern Munich really here to stay, or are we just seeing a clever makeover? The Belgian manager, who was surprisingly appointed manager of the Bavarians last year, has had his fair share of ups and downs, and so today we'll be having a look behind the scenes at what Vincent Kompany is cooking. This won't be your average tactical breakdown. It's going to be a full-blown breakdown, where we find out how Kompany's shaking up Bayern mentality, formation, and playstyle. Is this the start of a new Bayern dynasty, or a risky bet? Let's get into it. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe for more insider scoops. When Vincent Kompany suffered relegation from the Premier League with Burnley, finishing 19th with a club record low tally of just 24 points, there wasn't a single football analyst or fan or even a fortune teller who would have predicted what came next. Managers who go down with their teams don't just walk into elite jobs, especially not at clubs like Bayern Munich, where success isn't just expected, it's demanded. Yet, in one of the most shocking managerial appointments in recent memory, the former Man City captain was appointed coach of the German Giants in 2024, signing a 3-year deal. The man himself couldn't believe his luck, as he jokingly labelled himself a Make-A-Wish kid. Burnley, who was still bound by his contract, received a reported £10.2 million in compensation in what was an extraordinary fee that made Kompany one of the most expensive managers in football history. But that price tag only intensified the skepticism. This wasn't an experienced tactician with a trophy-laden CV. This was a coach whose only full season of success came in the Championship, followed by a disastrous Premier League campaign. And now, he was stepping into a club where the previous manager, Thomas Tuchel, a Champions League winner, had struggled to keep up with Bayern's expectations. The question on everyone's lips was, what could Kompany possibly bring to the table? Yet here we are. As of game week 24, Bayern Munich are sitting comfortably at the top of the Bundesliga, maintaining an 8-point lead over their nearest challengers. They've also advanced to the Champions League round of 16, keeping their European ambitions alive. For a manager who arrived with more doubters than believers, it's been quite the turnaround. And if there's something Kompany has definitely changed at Bayern, it's the mentality. He's brought a sense of calm to the club, handling issues internally instead of airing them out in public. Last season, media leaks and dressing room drama were constant distractions. This time around, things are quieter, and that's no coincidence. But how did we get here? What exactly is Kompany ball? And why is it working at Bayern when so many expected it to fail? Let's break down his journey so far, his tactical philosophy, and the impact he's had on one of Europe's biggest clubs. Let's start with this. Why was Kompany the chosen one? Just why would they risk so much on a young, unproven manager? The answer is in the great reputation that Kompany enjoys. The Belgian was one of the most respected team captains in recent years, a highly intelligent man, and one of Pep Guardiola's best pupils. But it wasn't just his charisma or leadership qualities that caught their attention. It was the tactical philosophy he attempted to implement. Even as Burnley's relegation seemed inevitable, despite lacking the squad quality to fully execute his ideas in the Premier League, Kompany's style of play was bold, progressive, and unmistakably influenced by the modern school of positional football. Bayern saw not just a struggling manager, but a coach with a clear footballing identity, one who had the potential to refine his ideas at a club with greater resources. So, what is Kompany ball really about? At its core, he aims to build a team that is extremely comfortable in possession, capable of methodically breaking down opponents with patient, structured build-up play. His philosophy demands players who can progress the ball fluidly, moving comfortably between the lines and maintaining positional discipline. Every pass, every moment is supposed to have intent, creating a team that dictates the tempo rather than reacting to it. Positioning is a critical element of this approach. When out of possession, Kompany's teams defend from the front, using their structure to compress space and limit passing lanes. Ideally, the setup makes it difficult for opponents to progress through the middle, while also restricting their ability to exploit wide areas. This controlled aggression is meant to suffocate opposition attacks before they even develop. But beyond defense, positioning is just as crucial in attack. The way his teams are set up isn't just about shutting down space, it's also about creating it. The ideal Kompany side moves in a way that allows them to generate numerical superiority in key areas, ensuring that when they attack, they do so with options, angles, and a structure that maximizes their efficiency. Of course, this all sounds great in theory, but the big question was always whether it would work at the highest level. At Burnley, Kompany had the right ideas, but lacked the quality to execute them consistently. At Bayern, with a squad packed with technical brilliance, tactical intelligence, and an elite level of experience, the conditions were finally in place for his vision to come to life. In his time managing at Burnley, Vincent Kompany opted for a sturdy 4-1-4-1 formation. When attacking, the shape easily switched to a 4-2-3-1, with two pivots dictating the rhythm of the game. This setup encouraged fluid passing, flexibility, and players switching roles and positions throughout the match. Since arriving at Bayern Munich, Kompany has mostly opted to begin in a similar adaptable 4-2-3-1 formation, a system that allows him to maximize the strengths of his squad, especially in midfield, where Joshua Kimmich and the teenage sensation Pavlovic have thrived. Vincent Kompany was brought in to rebuild the Bayern Munich team that had issues on and off the pitch, but with a crucial caveat. Unlike some of his predecessors, he wasn't handed a blank check to overhaul the squad. Instead, the Belgian was tasked with changing the fortune of the team, using the players already at the club. Of course, Bayern did back him with the market, splashing more than 50 million each on Michael Elise and Polina, two signings that addressed specific tactical needs. But at its core, this was still the same team built on the foundations laid before his arrival. One of the most noticeable aspects of Kompany's Bayern has been his approach to the defence. He sticks to a traditional flat-back four, but rather than bringing in high-profile reinforcements, he has chosen to double down on the talent already available. This confidence in his existing squad has led to major decisions, none bigger than sanctioning the departures of De Ligt and Mazzero to Manchester United, letting go of a defender as highly rated as him, particularly when Bayern had defensive struggles in the past, was seen as a bold move and angered some fans. When rumours of Lit sale hit the news, 60,000 fans signed a petition calling on the Bayern Munich bosses to keep the Dutchman. But Kompany had a plan, and so instead of relying on expensive new recruits, he placed his trust in the players he already had at the heart of his defence, and so far, it has paid off. Deo, a player with undeniable physical attributes, but previously prone to lapses in concentration, has found consistency under Kompany's system. Kim, on the other hand, has brought his trademark composure. In defence, Kompany has instructed his wide players to play more narrowly and be less attack-minded. Davies has been asked to temper his forward runs, focusing more on positional awareness and defensive solidarity. Guerrero, too, has taken on a more supporting role, with Kompany keen to utilise both players' excellent tackling and passing abilities, rather than simply relying on their attacking instincts. And when Vincent Kompany's Bayern's attack, they embrace a possession-based approach. Of course, keeping the ball has always been in the club's DNA, but the 24-25 version of Bayern moves the ball with a level of precision and efficiency that feels like an evolution rather than just a continuation. The structure, the tempo, and the patterns of play have been fine-tuned to maximise control and minimise wasted possession. Bayern builds from the back, playing a mix of slow and quick passes depending on the situation. The idea is simple but effective. Draw the opposition forward, force them to press high, and exploit the gaps left behind. All of these require technical excellence across the pitch, with every player expected to remain composed under pressure. And if there's something Bayern isn't lacking, it is quality technical players. Kompany has the luxury of relying on the brilliance of Harry Kane and Joshua Kimmich, two players whose intelligence and technical ability have been instrumental in executing his vision. The England captain is often instructed to drop deeper to receive passes, a tactical shift that disrupts the opposition's defensive lines and forces centre-backs into uncomfortable decisions. If they step up to mark him, they risk leaving space in behind for Bayern's attacking midfielders to exploit. If they hold their line, they allow Kane time and space to pick out killer passes. While Kane's primary role is still that of a goal scorer, his influence extends beyond just putting the ball in the net. His passing stats reflect this evolution. Although he only completes about 20.5 passes per game, the quality of those passes is what matters. Kane averages 1.4 key passes per game and is currently one of Bayern's chief assist providers. His ability to drop deep and distribute means that players like Jamal, who are good at making intelligent runs behind the defence, are constantly being fed with high-quality service. And of course, there's the finishing. Bayern's opponents know one thing for sure: leave Harry Kane unmarked at your own peril. Last season's record showed that if Kane is given even half a yard of space, he will almost certainly score. His movement inside the box remains world-class, and his finishing, whether from open play or set pieces, ensures that Bayern remains lethal in front of the goal. The Englishman is currently the team's highest goal scorer, with 31 as of January 2025. If Kane is the focal point of Bayern's attack, Kimmich is the metronome that dictates the entire rhythm of the team. Under Vincent Kompany, he has rediscovered the form that once made him one of the most complete midfielders in world football. The German has made more key passes and created more big chances than any other player in the Champions League this season, going into the round of 16. He's been that good. He typically starts matches as a defensive midfielder, orchestrating Bayern's build-up with his exceptional passing range. His influence in possession is staggering. He makes nearly 110 passes per game, completing them at an astonishing 93.3% accuracy. But it's not just about keeping the ball. He is also Bayern's main creative force from deep. averaging 2.8 key passes per game and 1.5 accurate crosses. But Kimmy's role isn't rigid. Depending on the phase of play, he is given the freedom to adjust his position dynamically. At times, he drops deeper to form a defensive trident, helping to build out the back from under pressure. In possession, he shifts into half spaces, offering passing options while maintaining Bayern's midfield superiority. And when the situation calls for it, he can charge forward into the attacking third. Now, before we go into the build-up phase, how about you go back and hit the subscribe and like buttons if you haven't already? Done that? Good. Now let's talk about how Bayern builds up play under Vincent Kompany. Like his old boss, Pep Guardiola, Kompany is obsessed with maximizing space and using his players' technical ability to maintain control of possession. One of the most notable aspects of Bayern's build-up under Kompany is how the fullbacks, Davies and Guerreiro, behave. Unlike traditional fullbacks who are expected to hug the touchline, Bayern's wide defenders often tuck into midfield when the team is building out from the back. And of course you have Neuer, the OG sweeper-keeper, playing a role in all of these. It's not uncommon to see him step up between the two central defenders. This allows Bayern to have an extra man at the back, making it easier to bypass high-pressing opponents and ensuring smooth progression from defence to midfield. When Bayern faces an opponent that prefers to sit narrow and compact, the wingers are instructed to move wider. This stretches the opposition defensive structure, forcing their fullbacks to commit to wider areas, which in turn creates gaps in midfield for Bayern's central players to exploit. But the rotations don't stop there. When Bayern starts to assert dominance, Davies and Guerreiro are given the freedom to make underlapping runs into the central attacking areas, rather than simply bombing down the flanks. Joshua drifting into the half space adds another layer to Bayern's attack. His positioning allows for quick link-up play while maintaining defensive balance. Meanwhile, with Kane dropping deeper, Muller instinctively makes runs beyond the opposition's backline, exploiting gaps and creating goal-scoring chances. This constant movement keeps defenders unsettled, forcing them into split decisions. Track Kane and leave a space behind, or hold the line and risk him picking out the perfect pass. Either way, Bayern benefits. Now let's talk about Kompany's youth integration as the current manager of Bayern. Bayern has a strong tradition of developing academy talent, with players like Thomas Muller, David Alaba and Philipp Lahm playing key roles in the club's dominance. But with the team in a title race, Kompany has had to prioritise experience, meaning opportunities for younger players have been limited. But even at that, he has given some prospects a chance. Adam Asnau made his senior debut before going out on loan. Arijan Ibrahimovic got a brief taste of Champions League football before being sent away for more development. Vincent Kompany's revolution at Bayern Munich is still a work in progress, but one thing's clear, he's already making his mark. From tactical tweaks to a mentality shift, Bayern looks different under his leadership. Thanks for sticking around till the end. So what do you think? Can Kompany's Bayern go all the way this season? And which player has impressed you the most under his system? Let me know in the comments. Stick around, click on the next video, and don't miss out on more juicy football content.